Oh, goodness me. Who's confused? It appears we are. I feel like we're coming in for landing after flying a plane at about 3,000 kilometres an hour today. It has been chaos here in real estate land. We're going to talk about it tonight. Rents up, prices down. Turn on Channel 9 News, you hear one thing. Turn on ABC News, you hear another. Turn on Sky News, you hear something else.
Anti-money laundering.
Who's confused?
Anti-money laundering, 1st of July.
Yeah.
All agents, brokers, banks are responsible for watching who's buying property and asking weird questions to people that are buying.
It's
a lot of change. There's been, in the last 12 weeks, there has been so much change, so much turbulence in the market. It's been, people are hungry for, where am I at? What's happening? So we thought tonight we'll come on live, we'll have a chat. It's a live show.
Yeah.
So if you want to ask questions, pop them in the chat. We will answer them. Make sure you're watching Novak on Facebook and pop it in the chat. We'll answer them live on stage.
And I think everyone thinks, and I keep saying this, but I think everyone thinks it's literally Armageddon out here in real estate world. It has been so busy today, guys. And no, this is not us talking the market up. Property prices are down. Right, that's the factual information now. Have they gone down 30%? No. If you see a price guide on a property that is, let's call it $800,000, and you offer $650,000, don't be disappointed when your offer doesn't get accepted, like what happened to me today with a buyer. It's like, well, what did you expect? You offered $200,000 under the guide. It wasn't exactly that property or that price, but you get the gist. There's different markets happening at the moment, guys. There is the property market. There is the rental market. There is the lending market. There is the commercial market. And guess what? They're all doing different things. They're all moving in different directions.
There's building.
And there's the building market. Yep. There's the building market. So there is a lot.
We're going to give you some clarity tonight.
Yeah. Let's break it down.
We're going to mush it all up together and give you what we're hearing and seeing people out there doing. But as a message out there, I guess the strongest thing I feel really passionate about is it's been a really, really good property market the last 100 years, and it's going to be a really, really good property market the next 100 years. That's it. I don't care where you are in the cycle. When you pin it 10 years down the track, it's always double. And is it going to continue like that? Absolutely. We are a great country, Australia. We are safe. We are an island. And we've always done well. The fundamentals of what's built, the pillars of our society are still there. That's why I believe it's still such a good property market in 10 years' time and in 20 years' time. So keep the faith.
Absolutely. Right now, what we're seeing in the property market is there is good buying opportunity out there. Now, guys, I want to be super, super clear. We operate on the northern beaches of Sydney, but we are seeing this right across many markets in Sydney. It is actually pretty busy out here on the ground at the moment. Buyers recognise there is good buying opportunity out here as property prices have come off in our area about 10%. Okay.
Now, I don't like hearing that.
We don't like hearing that, but this is the factual information that we are reporting. Now, the buyers at this stage in the property market, although today has been extraordinarily busy, as in I'm currently negotiating on a handful of different offers at the moment on different properties. That's the truth. Vendors also understand that the property market has softened a little bit. But hear me clearly, guys. There is no bell that rings when we have hit the bottom of the market.
It's time to buy.
And the only time that you know when the market has turned and is starting to come up is when you have missed the market. Now, right now, we're seeing really great buying opportunity, aren't we?
Yes.
We're seeing great buying opportunity out there. But there's a number of levers that I just want to talk about that property prices are driven by, and it's driven by much more than supply, and I've actually broken it down here. Property prices are influenced by demand versus supply. When there is more demand than there is supply, we usually see these property prices come up. Borrowing capacity. What's that?
In control of the government.
What do you want to...
I just think that I know everyone goes on about ability to borrow, but these constraints are put on by government.
Yep.
So if they want to ease back on these constraints or double down on these constraints, they easily can. So, don't be thinking that borrowing is always going to be like this. In the event of the market getting a little bit tough, the banks can just ease off the handbrake a little bit.
Yeah.
So I know people are like, oh, the bank won't give me the money. Well, the government's told them to tighten up on lending, and then they did.
That's right, but it doesn't stay like that forever. Now,
I know
this
that's
is important.
I know that's not the answer you'll want me to say.
No, but it's true.
It's
so
true.
Borrowing capacity, these are the levers, guys, that control property prices, right? I'm going to go through them quickly because we've got lots to cover. Borrowing capacity, interest rates, I think that's the obvious one there. Consumer confidence. Now, what we're seeing at the moment is young Billy goes to a dinner party on the weekend and he goes and talks to Auntie Errol, who has bought a property back in the 1970s.
Yeah.
And she said, Billy, don't buy, the market's going to crash. And Billy listens to Auntie Errol, who bought a property back in 1972.
Yep.
Be careful, guys, who you take your advice from.
Yep.
Buyer confidence is another one. Government policy, Mark, you just addressed that. Employment, household incomes, population growth. Now, that's a big one. That's a big one.
Brendan's here. Because
we're talking about, hey, Brendan, make sense of the world for us. Yes, we're going to wrap that up in just a moment for you. Obviously there's a big thing at the moment on immigration. Governments open the floodgates on immigration. Where are we going to put all these people? Can't see too many cranes in the sky here on the northern beaches. And this is where things start to get a little bit tricky, because where do we put all the people? And when we have more demand than we do supply, up go the property prices. That's factual.
Yep.
Factual.
That can be immigration, that can be lack of building, whatever it may be.
Well, that's all slowed down as well.
Yeah.
What are we seeing, Mark? I mean, you work a lot in the, in that development sector. You're working with a lot of developers.
Available builders. Haven't seen that in 5 years.
Yeah.
These guys have need work, and it's like, wow, building's just been so hard. So that landscape's changed a little bit.
Affordability and feasibility for these builders as well. They've got to make money. The only reason that they're going to build high-rise properties is to make money.
Yep.
And if they can't make money, or if the building constraints are so tight that have been put on them by the government, they're not going to build. We heard it from Harry Triguboff.
Are you seeing a pattern here? Government. Like a lot of these handbrakes, immigration.
Yeah.
All these handbrakes we're talking about are all sort of policies that the government have imposed. So the great thing is that they've got that control of those levers to actually move them around if they need to provide relief. That's awesome.
Okay, so that is factually, guys.
Interest rates, government.
Interest rates, huge part of it. I mean, that is factually what we're seeing here.
Government.
That is factually what we're seeing here with the property market. Factually what we are seeing. Yes, property prices are down. They're not going to stay down forever. They never do. And guess what, guys? The government, whether you like them or you loathe them, they're not going to be in forever either. So, yes, there's been all these policy changes. Are they here forever? No, they're not. Whether you like them or you hate them, it's very unlikely that these policies are going to be here forever.
And they're not going to watch us hit the wall. You saw how proactive they are. Relative to the government was, you saw how proactive they are through the GFC 1, through the GFC 2, through the recession, through COVID. Very proactive. Like them or hate them, they fixed stuff that was broken.
They can't afford for the property market to crash.
I love Harry Triguboff.
They can't afford for it to happen.
Harry Triguboff, the biggest developer in the country, says, I'm good. And they go, what do you mean? You're good? And he said, I got the best partners in the world. They go, partners? You don't have any partners. And I was like, that's cool. He said, because I've got those two partners, I'm sure.
We do. I don't know. I'm not sure if it keeps switching off or not, guys. I'd love to hear from anyone who's watching.
Yeah.
If you can just let us know if that camera keeps turning off or not. We're having a few little technical hitches here. Okay, let's talk about rents. Probably one of the most viral posts I've ever done was last week, where I said, it appears that those rents are going to go through the roof.
Mm.
Now, there was a lot of comments on there. In fact, I think just on my Facebook page alone, there was about 500 odd comments. Very, very mixed reviews here. People saying, you're an idiot. Why would you think rents are going to go up? That was some of the comments. Other people were saying, that person's an idiot. How can they not see that rents are going to go up?
Greedy landlords.
Well, in inverted commas.
Mm.
Is that what you mean? In inverted commas?
Well, yeah, like, you know, I think when you look at the cost of the relative cost to a landlord relative to the amount they're putting the rent up is disproportionate. So it's not like they're putting the rent up $50 because they have their costs fixed. A lot of them, their costs have gone up $100 and they've only put it up $50. So it ain't necessarily like dollar for dollar.
Yeah. Thanks, Brendan, for letting us know. And Louisa, I think where Mark's going to just hold the button down at the moment until we get this all sorted. So the rents. Now, why do we predict that rents are going to go up? And it's not that we don't know what we're talking about. Guys, we manage 2,000 properties here on the Northern Beaches. We manage more property than most agencies do in the country. So we've got a pretty good scope on what's going on with those rents. Now, we do not entice our landlords to continually put rent up. No. A landlord can only put their rent up if they want to, and it can only be done once a year.
Yep.
It can only be done once a year. Now, why are we seeing these rents going up? And again, we're talking about on the Northern Beaches, because if you kill the farmer, Mark, being the landlord, which you talk about a lot, then we're going to have less rentals.
No crops, nothing to eat. So we need to look after the farmers, which are our landlords, because they're planting the crops, call them properties, and people are going to live in those.
Guys, about the pushing on that button there.
Yep.
So, you know, and that's the reality. If you punish that landlord enough, they're going to say, do you know what, this is just too hard and I'm going to exit stage left. Now, for every landlord that leaves, that is one less rental on the market. And then the harder the government makes to get the landlord to come into the market, which is what we're seeing at the moment, because there's this belief that if we get rid of the investors in the marketplace, then the first home buyers can buy in, which is just ludicrous. Like, we had a landlord the other day who decided that she was going to sell up. It's a $2,000 a week property on the Northern Beaches. No first home buyer is going to be buying into that property. That's one less rental that we have for you guys, the tenants. So as we shrink that supply, up go the rents.
How much have rents gone up in the last 10 years?
Have
a guess, guys. Have a guess.
Yeah, I don't actually have those stats on me.
Louise got to say something.
I'm going to say.
Come back to that question.
I'm going to say those rents have gone up in the last 10 years. I wouldn't say they've doubled, but I'd say on an average 2-bedroom apartment in DY, they've probably gone up by about $300 a week.
Spot on. Rents have gone up 50% in the last 10 years in all suburbs on the Northern Beaches. Louise has a question. I agree with, I think a statement. I agree with you. I agree with you. On rent increases, it's better to leave the rents and hold on to good tenants. Costs more to get a new tenant, which negates the rent increase. Depends how much rent your rent goes up. But rents have done 50% in the last 10 years. Generally, property values double every 10 years. Work that one out.
And guys, please remember that, you know, a landlord they haven't just come and purchased the property with a bag of cash.
Oh.
They've got a loan. Yes. The interest rates went up 13 times last year. They came down for a split second, and then they've gone up again. They've got land tax.
Council,
they've got strata.
You
know, and the list goes on. Repairs, maintenance, property management fees.
Yep.
You know, most
agents expensive.
No, but you know, not expensive. What they're worth, Mark. That's what they're worth. You know, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes with managing a property. You only need to ask someone that self-managed their property before.
Special levies,
and they will tell you.
Special levies. How much have the levies got? How much are these special levies around
Class 2 builder
at the moment? Oh my God, that Yeah, class 2 building. Yeah.
Class 2 building. It is
Good one, Louise.
literally
Love that.
out of control.
Yes.
So actually, just on that, Louise, that is a
She's
killer
nailed that.
subject.
She's nailed it. Yeah.
Just on that,
Yes.
special levies. I've got 2 properties that I'm selling at the moment. One of them is approximately $1.5 million there for sale.
Yeah.
Special levy.
They didn't used to be like that.
2 special levies on that property, approximately $20,000.
Yeah.
I've got an apartment in DY, circa $1.5 million. Special levy for that apartment, $60,000.
Scary.
$60,000.
What else?
Interesting. Okay, so we talked about property prices are driven much more than supply. Lower house prices do not automatically create affordability.
Have a look at that. Negative house. We've baited first home buyers into the market. We've pushed some of them into negative equity when the property values go down.
And then put their interest rates up.
That's not when you told them they weren't going to go up. So that's pretty scary. So it's okay if it's. Remember, we're a long-term market. Remember, we double in 10 years. The last 40 years.
Yeah, but these first-time buyers are going to be able to pay for this, Mark. And here's the trouble there. And I know we're sort of a bit off topic here, but the problem is that the government said, come. We're going to help you. We're going to put you in on a 5% deposit scheme. And everyone went, oh, that's so great. Thank you so much. Brought them in. They bought into the market.
Yep.
They never talked about the interest rates going up again.
No, they said
our daughter's one of them. Our daughter's one of them.
Yep.
Property prices came up. They bought there. Property prices came down. They had to continue paying more and more because the interest rates went up on their repayments.
Yeah.
And some of those poor first-home buyers said, I've got to jump ship. And they went to sell. And when they paid the $1.1 million for that property, they ended up selling it for $1 million.
Some people are family.
At a loss.
Yeah.
At a loss because they couldn't hold on. The government enticed them to come in and buy.
We were talking about the biggest measure in real estate sentiment. And I've got to say, when that happens, when that trust is lost on the back of a promise from someone that's driving the vehicle or the car or the parent or the whatever, when you lose, or in a relationship, when you lose that trust because someone said one thing and did another, be it interest rates, be it we're not going to change capital gains tax, we're not going to change capital gearing, and then they come across and change, that trust really erodes people's confidence in the country, in property, in the world, in
our industry, we lose a license over it. Sorry, I just had to put that 2 cents worth in. But it's true.
Okay if your Prime Minister does it, though. It's okay.
It's true. Look, I think, we can all have our comments surrounding that. But what tonight was all about, guys, was just to break it down and to talk to you about what's going on out here. Now, the other thing that we're hearing is, we're going to make things so much more the property now for first-home buyers. But one thing everyone is missing, can that person get a loan? Can the person get a loan? So the person sitting at home that says, sucked in, the property market's now come down. Now little Johnny can finally afford to buy the property that he's always hoped of. But can little Johnny actually get the loan?
Yeah.
Can little Johnny continue to pay the loan?
Or you just buy a cheaper property, which is only $750,000.
What do you need for that?
Only $140,000 a year.
You still got to eat. Still got to drive your car. Yeah. You still need to pay bills.
Small problem.
Yeah.
But
that is the reality
I don't actually
of this.
I believe little Johnny can actually earn a lot less and still afford that property. But the assessment criteria for little Johnny is sitting at $140K. That's not what he needs to earn. Little Johnny's not going to wipe himself out if they give him a loan. But
there was a young lady.
It's interesting how hard they assess it, though. It's interesting.
There was a young lady who was just in the office, first home buyer. She came in with her parents, and she's
just
working,
walked out just 1 minute before we walked in.
Literally, she's working 3 jobs.
Has the last
3 jobs.
10 years.
I don't know. I don't meet too many young people these days that are working 3 jobs. She's working 3 jobs so she could buy a property and she can make those repayments. That's pretty impressive.
And then when you said that, when she said that to you, her mum turned around and said, "Does she look all right?" We go, "What?" Mum goes, "Look at her. She hasn't died. We haven't killed her." She said she's worked hard and she's done well and she's got reward for it. I was like, yeah, rich to you.
But guys, can I just keep this really simple just to wrap up? We could talk about the property market every single day for the rest of our lives and there will be something to report.
And we will.
But here's what we know. 26 years of running our own real estate office, and property has continued to go up through all the trials and tribulations. Property has continued to go up. It is a long-term investment. That's the reality. So even for these people that purchased a property 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, through COVID, through wars, through interest rate rises, through all sorts of things that we have all lived through, property continues to go up and it will continue to do that. But it is a long-term investment. It's how long you're in the market for.
And on the back, I really like Louisa. She's cool.
I think the solution is to go back to the problem. Building can't keep up. So government needs to invest more in getting people back to trades, pay them better. I think, Louisa, you need to. I think you need to be in. You need to be running the country.
On the back of that, I don't care if you're running a family, a child, a business, a friendship. I believe I think penalising is one thing and incentivising is another. We've received a lot of penalising in the last couple of years. I think incentivising would be refreshing to see. And the landlord has been penalised so hard,
so much,
for so long. It's almost traumatic to watch over all of the taxes and legislation that they've been shrouded in, absolutely shrouded. It's time to incentivise the landlord for being a landlord and incentivise.
Well, we need them.
Like we're incentivising first home buyers for being first home buyers.
Yep.
I think a bit of incentive out there, a bit of a pat on the back out there from, government or whatever. And that's the way, whether it's entrepreneurs, business owners, small business owners, incentivise these guys just a little bit.
We need them.
I understand, a bit of penalty, sure, whatever, you need to pull things in.
I tell you what, the country would be pretty tough without them.
Well, it's like parenting.
Where are people going to live?
It's like parenting. You slam your kid their whole life, they're no good for it. You incentivise the kid, they're probably better for it. And I think running a country is a little bit like that.
Yeah. It's and listen, it is tough. There's no doubt about it. We witness it firsthand, guys.
You work
we really
harder
do.
when it's tough.
That's it. But the reality is that property has been very kind to a lot of people. We do need the landlords, because without them, they're not able to supply housing to all of the tenants.
Yep.
So, but it has been tough out there.
Hard work.
For quite some time.
Hard work.
It has been busy. The show definitely goes on, that's for sure. And I'd love to go back and rewatch some of these episodes in a few years' time.
Like we said at COVID, and we did, and it was cool.
Stock's low. That's something that's also interesting. Stock levels have dipped dramatically. What usually happens when stock levels are low? Property prices go up. Anyway, let's watch this space. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great night. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being so wonderful.
Interactive tonight. There's been lots of other comments we couldn't show, unfortunately, but there were so many. But guys, love you.
See you guys.
Bye.